I want to let you all in a little secret. My bow tillers itself. Yeah, tillering. Tillering is the art or the most difficult part of bow making.
Okay.
Okay, you know when Daddy puts his up on that tiller tree sometimes? That's what I call a tiller tree.
What tiller tree?
That stick right there with the
Oh.
lines in it. Yeah. You see me put a bow up there and then pull the string down, right? To look at how the limbs are bending. And it takes a long time sometimes to get that bow just right.
And sometimes I remember you do it at dark.
At dark, yeah. Sometimes I'm doing it at night, yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes, like a long time ago, you do it at dark and you work at dark, like I did.
Yeah.
Remember when I set up that trap?
When you set up the trap, yeah. All right, so, but the bows I make now, you don't see me put them up there really anymore, right? That's because the tillering, in a traditional sense, all bow making, most bow making requires a tillering tree, putting your bow up on the tree, and pulling the string down and seeing how the limbs bend and taking off material from this limb and that limb and getting them to bend equally. But with my bamboo bow design, if you follow all the dimensions correctly, there is no tillering. It actually tillers itself. The truth is that tillering happens during the material removal process. So if you take your bamboo limb, which you can see if you got my book and you're following the dimensions that I put down in the book, and you trace out your dimensions for your limb, draw them out, measure them out, and you take it down to the thickness I tell you to, the length, you cut it to the length I say, you follow all the widths, the proper widths. And so once you get all the material removal done, that limb is tillered. You do the same thing for your other limb, and it's tillered. It happens in the material removal process. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So no one has to do that. No one has to worry about the difficult part of tillering the bow.
I was telling me.
I just explained it to you, silly. Remember putting it up there and scraping material off? A lot of hard work. Remember you said I used to work sometimes at dark and working on bows and getting them shaped right? Well, that's why this is easy, all right?
Okay.
So in the book, it describes all you need to know, the dimensions, exact dimensions, all the measurements you need to take, thickness, width, length. It has tracing patterns, as you see Samson showing, so you can transfer the tracing pattern of the handle, and this is of course a side profile, then I'll have a tracing pattern and the dimensions for the top profile, and this is what your seal will look like. So, if you feel confident, you can find wood, good hardwood, which I actually give ideas about which, you can hang on to that, buddy, which species to use. Then you can make all the components.
Is it backwards?
No, that's fine. All right, so thank you. So with my book, my book is great for any experience level. It was written for the novice. If you don't own a tillering tree, don't worry, you don't need one. If you don't even know what the word tillering means, don't worry, you don't need to. If you do everything correct following my dimensions, which it's a very small book, it's very easy to follow, your bow will basically be tillered and give it a shot. You don't have to fool with tillering. Once you string it up, you take a look at the profile, you train the bow at that profile. You're going to train the limbs to bend as I've demonstrated in my videos. And that's when it becomes a bow. If you have any questions, I'm here to support you and guide you through the process. It's a fun process. Like I said, I do still sell bows. So if you're interested in that and not interested in making your own, then contact me. One other thing I am opening up is private workshops and small group workshops. Anyone that's interested in that, coming out and learning how to make one of my horse bows with me and some of my arrows, then just go ahead and, shoot me an email. Let me know your interest and we'll try and work things out based on both of our schedules. Again, I thank you for watching, and Samson says thanks for watching, right?
Right.
Give him a big smile. And we'll talk to you guys later.